Okay. And we're live from Friday Night Pikes, sorting through the technical difficulties. Live from the Crooked Spear Shack.
The Crooked Spear Shack, you're back.
Yep. Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore.
How was your drive?
It was windy, and it was icy. We're sorry for the late start, folks. It was a planned 3-hour drive that turned into a 4 1/4 hour drive with small kids and a McDonald's stop in there and icy roads.
Yeah.
But
this weather just needs to go.
if you hear some rustling in the background, it's the plastic we've got over the windows.
Insulation.
And doors. Yes.
We need a good carpenter to put in a insulated door over here or something. I don't know.
I know a guy.
Yeah. He might be here later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, very good.
So we got Jared Sypnieski today. We might have a couple other guys to hop on. We're hoping to maybe link up with some guys out in Wisconsin today that are getting ready for the big old Sturgeon spearing season.
We're back in the saddle. We've been getting updates from Brian Davis.
It's cut-in day today for a lot of guys in Wisconsin.
Wasn't it cut in yesterday?
Well, he told me they're cutting in today and they might fish. So maybe, I'm not sure of the rules. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah. Hopefully he calls in. But, yeah. Sorry I couldn't be up here last weekend. I went to the Minnesota Darkhouse and Angling Association banquet, the Central chapter in Minnesota. So I actually spent all day Friday at Tim Duffney's shop, Acorn Millwork. So got to go through there and amen.
Amen.
Yeah. Tim, if you're listening.
I love Tim.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. And then Tim and I and his wife went to the banquet and sat with Gordy and a bunch of guys and got to meet a whole bunch of people. And I bought a bunch of raffle tickets and won nothing, but it's all going to a good cause.
Sounds like Whitefish when we won nothing.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But, sorry, folks. We tried to get Fulton on this weekend, and, I don't know, wires got crossed, and we just couldn't make it happen. But Fulton is on the docket to get done, and eventually we're going to have him record a really awesome intro for us because he's got, like, the voice of God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
yeah, we're going to hopefully link up with him this year yet and get his voice on here because I think everyone will enjoy it. Would you you wanted to talk a little bit about the NFDA? Do you think we should?
Yeah, I mean we can go there. It's getting to decoy season now, or I should say decoy show season. This is kind of really getting into the heart of decoy show season. If I look here, I got them written down. So I am the president of the National Fish Decoy Association.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
How much do you get paid to do that?
Negative.
It actually costs you money, probably, huh?
Probably, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it. The gathering in Perham, it's probably the biggest fish decoy show in the world, I would assume. I can't think of another one.
I don't know. I heard they had one over in Russia that might have been comparable, but
yeah, I don't speak Russian and I can't write Russian either, so
they got a lot of different symbols and stuff that they use.
I wonder if they spear pike over there. If anybody's from Russia, comment below.
Have you seen the pike over in Europe that they have over there?
Yeah. They're
like monsters.
Giganto fish.
I want to go get some and put them in the lake.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah. They put muskies to shame.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Some real giants. Yeah, over in like Finland and stuff. I've seen some pictures and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So, lots of fun. Again, so Perham, it's the biggest decoy show in the state for sure. That is April 23rd and 24th, 9 to 4 on Saturday and 10 to 3 on Sunday. So, and if you're going to make it to one decoy show, that's the one to come to.
Debbie Fulton says it's 23rd annual.
23rd. Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah. Jered Gunufson says hi. Hey, Jordan, if you left right now, you could be part of this. So
yeah, we'd like to see you here.
Your brother's here.
Yeah. Sitting quietly running camera. Yeah. So
yeah, and there's hotels in Perham. Just so you know, there's 2. Well, there's maybe 3, but I just know of the 2. I've actually stayed at all 3.
The Super 8 and the Crossings. That I know off the top of my head. I would recommend if you're planning on coming to the show, I'd book your tickets or book your rooms quick because they fill up. They've been Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll be pitching a tent out in the parking lot. So, but no, Perham is a great time. If you're going to come to one decoy show, that's the one to make it to. I mean, you have the widest variety of carvers. We have a lot of guys that come over from Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, North and
Dakota.
South Dakota. I mean, that's the big one. I mean,
yeah, they're all over the place. I mean, in the past, we've even had people from California,
from Canada.
Yeah,
I know I've got a collector that comes up from Iowa every year.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's
crazy.
You get to see the who's who from decoys for, everybody. So it's a lot of fun. Setup is Friday night. Friday night for the carvers that are participating and the people that are setting up for the show. Friday night we have a fish fry over at the Super 8, and that's like the highlight. Everybody's jazzed up to be there, and it's like this year is going to be super fun. Nobody from the decoy shows have seen each other in 3 years now. I know
it's gonna be one big kiss fest.
Yeah, it's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Saturday is showtime at Perham. Sell one, sell all. That's when the decoy contests are judged. Again, if you're planning on competing in the NFDA decoy classes, if you go on to nfdadecoys.org and click under the events and contests tab and go down through there, we just updated it. Ryan Ebert, I know he's watching.
No, he's
Ebert
probably not.
Yeah, he is.
Is he out in? He's out in with Davis probably in there.
I don't know. I saw it. He can watch on his cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, Ebert just updated the website for us, and it's like front and center. It's got everything up to date. Some new classes were added, so definitely get on there and get your chance to, at getting some good money. There's a lot of classes there that you can pick from, some that fit your style or whatever you're good at, anything.
There's something for everybody. And you know
Absolutely.
what? I've entered classes. The competition there has gotten crazy, but just entering the competitions, you learn so much because you see, how, I don't know. When I've entered, I've come out of there, and you look at what other people are doing, and then you look at the winners, and you really learn a lot there just by participating.
Yeah, and everybody brings their A game too.
Yeah.
I know I've been coming to Perham now. This will be just over 10 years I've been coming to the Perham show, and the first year you always wanted to come in and make a big splash, and it was like I made all my fish, and I was like, oh, I've got 5 winning fish here for sure, and I don't know if I placed in the top 5 for the first 5 or 6 years that I carved.
Yeah.
So it was good. And, every year I felt the same way. It's like, I'm going to go and this fish is going to be the cat's meow. This thing is going to win. And then you show up and, well, guess what? Everybody's bringing their A game. And what's fun, everybody's growing. The sport's growing and everybody's, the competition level just keeps getting higher and higher and higher and higher. So it's a great place to learn. It's a great place to get to know people. I know there's a bunch of new faces that we're going to see this year. I can see just from if you guys are on Facebook at all, which obviously if you're watching live, you are, if you go to the Fish Decoy art page, it's pretty much a community forum for nothing but fish decoy carving. And there's a lot of really great information getting passed around there. You get to see people's fish, whether you're an experienced carver or whether you're carving your first fish. It's a great place to go just to be a part of the community.
Yeah.
So I'm up here at Ryan's place. It's about a 3.5 hour drive on a good day.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've been up here since, I don't know, fishing opener.
Yeah.
So we came up here and Jordan's now got the new shop set up. I said, I want a Jered Gunufson guided tour of that shop.
Yeah.
Do you sign the table here or will he get mad? Like you do here?
I would just do it.
Just do it. That's right.
I would sign every saw he's got in there.
Yeah.
He just saw the handles.
Yeah.
Or sign the handles.
Ryan Gaff, FNP.
And I'll make it worth another $5.
I gave him some old dressers.
You should come and sit down.
Yeah, pull up a chair.
Jered Gunufson just showed up, so
this is the this is the more attractive of the two brothers.
Can I get headphones?
yeah, we can hook you up.
Yeah.
For real. It
We
helps.
gotta- yeah, it does help. We gotta cut to intermission here, folks.
See which mic is him for, I'm assuming.
I'm guessing he's number 4.
Hit your mic there, Jered. So this is Jered Gunufson. He runs a carpentry business.
He built your house.
He did. He built my house. And he's built
What a
a
rip,
lot of.
boss.
Yeah. Try talking once.
Trent, can you hear me?
There you go. Perfect.
Boom. We like it. Can you hear
He's
yourself?
also a member of Northern Spiked.
Northern Spiked.
I've seen a lot of Northern Spike stuff around. It's funny because we'll go to Dark House Association meetings down in the state there, and everyone's talking about Northern Spiked. It's a big deal. It is.
What's your website?
I don't even know. You'd have to ask.
Northernspike.com probably.
I don't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
I really don't.
But yeah. So, what were you saying?
I don't know.
What were we talking about?
He bought all the stuff to make some decoys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've had it for months.
Yeah.
Sitting in my shop on my work table. And yesterday we called it quits early because of the weather, and I had one of my employees come and we cleaned shop, and I'm like, well, just as well put this stuff together. It's only been sitting here for
You said, hey, while you're at it, you should set up that bandsaw and that sander over there and get that all set
and
up.
we didn't
for
even
me.
set it up. We just put it on my storage shelves right now. I just don't have time or the ambition to
So we
start.
were thinking about talking about what it takes to get into making some decoys for newbies. I have a question for you as somebody who's never made a decoy. What's your biggest mystery of how you make a decoy? Is there anything that this or do you know with some wood background and
Waiting. Finning probably would be my
waiting is definitely
what I don't know
yeah.
anything about.
Yeah, a lot of that boils down to trial and error, and it depends on how serious you want to get into it. There's different guys. I know, I talked to Harley Reagan, asked him the same question back when I started carving, 10 years ago. And I said, how do you go about it? And he used to, what he'd do is he'd pour a mold of lead, and he would rubber band them. He'd carve his fish out and seal it so it doesn't soak up water. And then he would take a chunk of lead and just take rubber bands and rubber band it to the bottom, and then, of his fish, and then go test swim it in your tank. If you need less lead, cut a chunk of it off until you kind of get it down right, and weight it a little bit lighter than you want it to, because obviously you still got to drill the lead out, and then you can melt that much lead and pour it in your fish. That's one kind of easy way to do it. I know a lot of guys like me. I have a swim tank. I bought a 5-foot round stock tank. So
and you have a heated shop put it in. That's
Yeah.
my biggest problem.
Yeah, I mean, if we put it outside here, it would be frozen to the frozen solid.
Yeah.
But
Summertime.
yeah, but yeah, for the longest time I just filled a bathtub full of water and started at one end and watch how it sinks.
Yeah.
A lot of time, you got to kind of make do with what you have. But a horse stock tank is you can get them for a pretty reasonable price if you're going to get into decoy carving that much. If you're just looking at doing it, yourself, I've seen guys fill up bathtubs. They'll fill up a tote full of water.
Bob Johnson, I remember one of the last conversations we had with him, he was telling us how he used to weigh decoys when he didn't have a swim tank. And he'd fill up a tote or anything that was yay big. And his main concern was that it went forward and down.
Yep.
Now you don't get, obviously in a small tank or small thing, you're not going to see how it spins, but at least if you know that it goes down and forward and it sits somewhat level in the water, you probably 75%, 80% are going to have a decent swimming decoy.
Yeah, and obviously I know Eric Wallace is a good buddy of mine, and he's really particular about how his decoy swims, but he's the same way. He's got a 5 or 6 foot tank in his shop there, and every decoy gets test swam. Some guys like them fast, some guys like them slow, and most people don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Long live Kirk Schnitker.
Yeah.
Keep them moving.
Yeah.
So it's like the Deweys. I've always wondered his rattling ones.
Yeah.
How much weight is that added,
Right.
and what's in there?
Is it BBs or is it those little canisters that you
Yeah.
get?
Been tempted to cut one in half and find out.
I might do it.
I've been thinking about
Or X-ray it. I could probably bring it to.
I've talked to I talked to somebody that recently. He knows who he is if he's listening to it right now. But I talked to somebody recently who had talked about putting a rattle on a decoy, and I said, I should put a rattle on a decoy. So that's.
And how would you do it?
I think they make like the little. What I've seen is they have like the rattle canisters.
Yeah, those little canisters. Yeah.
And you just take them. I would assume the way I would do it is
put
just
them under your lead bed or what?
I would drill a separate
Another hole.
Drill a separate hole. Yep. I'm sure they're a 1/4 inch around or whatever. Drill a hole with the Forstner bit, slide it in, epoxy over the top of it.
I'm gonna see if that sucker's got a.
I bet you, and then there's elongated lead spot, and there'll be a small spot.
Oh, Ryan's going to investigate. He's got a Dewey decoy sitting right over here on the shelf.
I sure do.
Is that what he's going for?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get that sucker.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's what he's doing. He's over here throwing a chunk of wood in the wood stove because he's cold.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. This is Dewey decoy country, folks.
So,
everybody up here wants one. Everybody up here has one. I think for
Dewey's got a. You can't see it on the camera.
Yeah,
but
okay.
He's got a little cavity in the back, and it's pretty big. It looks bigger than what. Can you see that?
Little closer.
Yep, we can see it.
Right there, he's got a little spot there where he's got a little rattle. That's typical Dewey. These are kind of a hot ticket right now for a lot of people.
I tell you what.
Grew up using.
Oh my God! For
$20.
Oh, for $20, go to a Fleet Farm and pick up a whole bucket full of them
Can't go wrong
things.
with the Dewey.
I've even seen some in
Joe
bags
Fulton's
with the
rolling
old
over
price on them for like $8.50.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I know at Perham, I'm not even. At Perham, many years after he passed away, you could get used ones for $5.
Yeah,
So
my first year, I went down there, and I think I came home with like 12 or 15 Deweys.
I was like, "What are you doing?" And
I love them.
and I'm no disrespect to Dewey. I'm just saying most people don't find the best.
I'm telling you what. So
75
that going back to Perham on Sunday, that's the day to wheel and deal.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. So Saturday, usually if you're a decoy collector, get there Saturday and get there early. When the door opens, it's usually people come. I know from years past at my table, people show up, and the people that collect my fish, they want the pick of the litter. So if you're a big decoy collector and you've got your eye on somebody that's got decoys there, get there
Good
Saturday.
chances you'll find them.
That's right. And Sunday, that's the time to wheel and deal, baby. If you're a decoy carver and you're new and you don't have enough for a table, get a couple, put them in your pocket, and bring them, because everybody wants to trade. A lot of times I've traded a lot of fish over the years at Perham with people that, Fulton was one of them. Fulton would always have one in his pocket, and he's probably not like that anymore. But I know for like a few years, he'd kind of give you the wink and nod, like he had some illicit drugs in his pocket, and you'd be like, oh yeah, let's trade a decoy.
I bought a pocket Fulton and Bijou.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
he still does it.
Yeah,
Bijou, and this year even.
Yeah.
Goes around with those Crown Royal bags.
Yeah.
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 I remember when Thane Johnson, one of the first years I realized who he was, and he was making decoys. He carried a box around, and when he opened it up, it like came out and went poop, 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 like this, and he had decoys sitting in. No, he had like little levels to it.
I know.
And I just looked at him like, because he's a lure guy. He started as a lure guy, so his decoys are lure-ish, and he even stored them like a lure. He had them
in a tackle box.
In a tackle box. It was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, if you're new to carving decoys, if you're just getting your feet wet, or if you've been watching for a couple of years, obviously we haven't had, like I said, Perham's kind of the place to go. If you haven't come and get to meet people. Everybody wants to be friends there. I like I said, my best friends all are part of the National Fish Decoy Association. We don't have a membership program or anything like that right now. We're still trying to establish that and how we'd, obviously, all the funding, like even with the gun raffles and stuff, all that funding goes to do is just put on our shows. There's nobody on a payroll. Nobody's taking any money home. It's just really, it's just a bunch of people that love to carve, and it's kind of a association just formed around just kind of the family of carving decoys.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, it's good. It's I've been going since I think I went the year after it started.
yeah.
So I mean that's 20 some years.
No,
Yeah, right. Their 20th anniversary.
you're not that old.
I am.
Oh, I know that. So the first year I went to Perham, the first year I went to Perham was 2010, and that was the year that Ryan and I met. I remember because so if you carve and you enter a few decoys in the class, what you really want to do is on Saturday night we have the carver's banquet. So at that, that's when they hand out all the awards for. So on Saturday, beginning first thing in the morning, there's people that are judging the competition classes from minute one, and usually they finish up in the middle of the afternoon, late afternoon. Usually the banquet's like 5-6 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's the awards banquet. So they tally up all the winners and all that stuff, and then we have the awards banquet where class number 1, it was a largemouth bass or whatever it is. I don't know off the top of my head, but then they have everybody come, everybody that competed, and in 5th place it was so and so. 4th place, so-and-so, and they read them all out, and you go up and you get your certificate and all that and your prize money. Loads of fun. And then that night, the person is awarded that wins Best of Show, which for me, I know as someone that's competed in the decorative classes for, 10 years now, that Best of Show that's the one you want to take home. It's a big gold cup. It would look great. Eric Wallace has a couple and I don't, which drives me up a wall. Eric, if you're listening, I'm just kidding. But in the awards banquet, they have a bar there, and
You could screw with him like he does with your mailbox.
yes,
You could go if you knew where he lived. I don't know. Maybe
I would have to break into his house, his parents' house.
Let's do it.
Dun, 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 dun.
We'll go there with paintball guns.
Put on a black mask.
No,
I'm not going into anybody's house with a mask on. I'll get shot.
yeah. They're from the cities though. Nobody owns guns down there.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. But yeah, so anyways, the awards banquet, and those tickets are for sale. The tickets for the awards banquet are for sale at the show. You got to find, it's the same table that they sell the gun raffle tickets at. You can go to the show and you can buy your awards banquet ticket. It's fun. We have, so it's at the Cactus in Perham. They have a great meal catered there every year. They have the best chicken cordon bleu I've ever had there. Swear to God. I was going to go through the line twice. And a bar, and again, it's a social event. It's so much fun. And again, especially when you got some skin in the game, if you've competed in a couple of the classes, it's always fun. Mm-hmm. You get to see who won. Yeah. So,
and you get to hear usually a joke by Kirk Schnicker.
Yeah,
same one every year.
Yeah, he commandeers the mic.
Yeah. I got a funny story about him. We were at the banquet one year. And Kirk, if you don't know Kirk Schnicker, he's a lawyer down in the cities, but he's the coolest guy you ever meet.
He's such a load of fun.
Yeah. And I had to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, and anyways, I went to the bathroom, and I see this wallet sitting. I think it was on the floor. And so I pick it up, and I'm like, well, I better look and see whose it is. Well, here's Kirk Schnicker's. And I'm not going to tell you how much money he had in there.
It was a real thick wallet.
Yeah. And he's a lawyer. And so I was like, whoa. So I kind of kept it. I kept it with me, and he was sitting at the same table I was. And I kind of sat there for a while and tried to see if he realized he'd lost it. He didn't. And all of a sudden I said, hey, Kirk, you missing something? And his eyes got as big as saucers. He's like, oh, thank you for that. He goes, I didn't know I dropped it in there. He goes, so
I've been drinking on it for 4 hours.
Yeah. So yeah, Kirk, if you ever get a chance to meet him, he makes cool decoys, and he's just
awesome
his
decoys.
Personality is really cool.
I got to spear with Kirk at the Whitefish Invitational. I got to spear with him for a couple days this year, and man, that was fun.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna bring something up.
Yeah, we both wrote down lists when we found out that Fulton wasn't going to be on the show this week. I went into emergency mode and I was like,
I was gonna read some messages.
let's see what we got.
So Jordan says you have a hot tub, Jared. You can test your decoys in. And
I thought about that was actually one of my things is I've got that 5-foot round stock tank in my garage, and I was like, if I prop that up like another 6 inches, and I got one of like those cast iron, turkey baster heaters under there, I said, I bet you I could get that thing to boil after a couple days, and I'd have a hot tub in there.
I'm sure we could YouTube a hot tub swim.
Redneck hot tub.
Yeah. Put a lot of bleach in it, though, please.
It's funny. I
don't want your funk on my decoys.
I dumped. I had a bucket full of minnows a couple months ago, and they were sucker minnows, and all but one sucker minnow was dead. And I was like, let's see if this thing will last in there. I dropped that sucker minnow in about a month ago, and he's still going.
Oh, really?
he's just laying in the bottom.
I wish I had a swim tank. Then I'd get the big sucker minnows, and I could keep them alive.
Put goldfish in there.
So you don't have? I thought you had
They'll
bleach
keep
in
it
that.
clean.
Oh, really?
That's why that was the whole plan. Is like, well, I don't want him to suffer. I dumped the bucket out, and he was kicking on the ground. There was one left kicking. I was like, well, I don't want him to suffer. We'll give him a chance, sink or swim.
You have bleach in yours, though, right?
No, iron out.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't turn green.
Yeah.
There's a kid that works for me, and he said his dad puts goldfish in his stock tank.
Really?
Yeah, all summer long they eat all the algae and
What's he use a
crap
stock
out of
tank
there.
for? It was like
Cattle.
cows?
Yeah.
Really?
Didn't believe him, and he sent me pictures. When
Like
he
a
was there one day.
goldfish that
Oh,
you
yeah,
buy at the Pomida.
Full of goldfish or full of whatever those fish
Yeah,
are that people have in there.
My stock tank is like a biohazard most of the time because my kids. So when
You got decoys laying on the bottom that are just
goldfish.
waterlogged.
I'm telling you what, when my kids come into my decoy shop, it's a
I'm
thing
doing
to
that.
just play
I'm
in the
doing
water.
that
They
this
come
summer.
in, they're like head to toe, they're soaked. There's 4 decoys laying on the bottom. That and my stupid cat Nutsy. Nutsy sits up there, and I've got half of my stock tank is covered. I got a plastic banquet table over the top of it, and I've got my lead pot right there. So I'll have decoys lined up on that table. Like I'll have 5 or 6 of them lined up that I'm some have lead in them, some are just they're ready to be swim tested, lead added, and all that crap. Well, Nutsy at
Some
night,
of them float, too.
a lot of them float. Nutsy comes up, and at night he must get bored, and he knocks them into the tank. So I'll go in the shop.
I would not tolerate that.
Oh, yes, we tolerate it because he's a family cat, and family cats deserve toleration.
He eats mice. That would be the only good thing about him, a cat. But
Yes, he does eat mice.
Yeah.
He drives me nuts. Hence Nutsy.
do you have to feed the goldfish, or do they just eat the crap in the tank?
Yeah, I don't know.
I've got
I gotta figure this out because
I've got like a solid 1/4 inch of sawdust. You can see like it's like sediment in the bottom.
Yeah,
It's
I've
sawdust.
seen it.
When you freaking jig a decoy, when you're practicing swim testing it, it's like
don't test a white one because it'll come out gray.
yes.
Yeah,
Is Sean Moser on watching?
I don't know.
You'd have to ask him.
it's him.
It's his dad,
Who's your buddy? We should do a shout out for him.
Sean.
Not Sean, but your other buddy,
Oh, Nate.
Nate.
Is he logged on?
I don't know. I can't tell who's logged on. But.
He's fishing down in Wisconsin or
Oh,
southern
so he's
Minnesota
probably not
somewhere.
logged on.
Yeah,
There's
Jordan was going to bring his spear tonight, and I might have to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
I can get that first-hand tour
Yeah,
of the Jered Gunufson ice saw shop.
Jordan.
Hmm?
Jordan.
You know what I said?
Jared, right?
Just Jordan or Jared. He does construction. I build spears.
Ladies and
Or
gentlemen.
saws, I
Hold
mean.
on a second here. We are.
So we have a special guest, ladies and gentlemen, hailing from somewhere in Wisconsin. We have Brian Davis on the line. Brian, are you there?
Yeah, I got Ebert too.
awesome.
We're in
Ebert.
I see. Not to cut you off, but I saw Ebert was on a podcast in Wisconsin.
He's pretty fancy these days.
He's on 2 podcasts in 1 month.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Mr. Hollywood.
The Wisconsin Sportsman.
Where can people listen to that?
Apple Podcast, Spotify, or the Sportsman Nation Network.
Awesome.
So we got Ryan Ebert and Brian Davis on the phone there down in Wisconsin. They did their cut-in. You did your cut-in today, right? Yep. So they're down sturgeon spearing, which is the coolest thing in the world. I feel like we don't get to do it here.
Dinosaur spearing.
It's the only spearing they get to do unless they go to the Great Lakes. So, did you guys actually do any spearing today?
No, today's just cutting. You can watch down a hole, but you can't have a spear.
Okay.
Okay.
I seen you had some bloodworms in the hole though.
Redworms, yep.
Or redworms.
Yeah, it's a midge larva.
Okay.
Lake. That's kind of what we're looking for. Hoping that the fish we're looking for are feeding on those this time of year.
Yeah. It looked like your water was really dirty though.
Yeah. Did you drill in? Did you drill through the ice into the bottom of the
Right
lake,
into the mud.
That was kind of a play on our bull over here. We were just our clarity is what 10 to 11 feet.
Oh, that's not
16 feet.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you just kind of tell us what you're looking for, and then, as far as
No. What we don't care about that. What we want to know is whose decoy are you running?
yeah, are you running the big K's?
No
big cake.
Beep. Do you have a sturgeon decoy, Brian? I know Ryan does.
I actually don't have any big decoys, but I went into my basement this morning and I was looking around, and my dad carved one, and I decided that was the one this year. It's kind of a brook trout, brown trout pattern, and I'm guessing it's like fish number 54 or so of my dad's,
Yeah.
and it is gold, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna blow up because I think it's basswood.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
But I'm pretty pumped up about putting it down the hole. It's
That's
never
cool.
been down,
Awesome.
and
In Wisconsin.
I just feel like it's gonna happen. And if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be on that decoy.
Yeah.
Davis, have you ever speared a sturgeon before?
I have not.
Is it something you pursue yearly, or is it? I don't know how the tag.
Is this your first year? No.
I don't know how tag allocation works. Is it something that you get to do every year, or is it like is it something that you dabble in every now and again?
Lake Winnebago is a general tag, so anybody can get it, and it's 16-day season or so it's a harvest cap. Upriver is like an 8-year wait to get that, and you have a lot better percentage chance.
I see. Okay. Yeah, going back to that basswood thing, anybody new to carving,
Don't use basswood unless you're going to put it on a shelf.
yeah, basswood is great to carve as from a carver standpoint. It carves really nice,
Like
but
soap.
it's not really great underwater. Just the way the strands of the wood work. If you miss any spot sealing your decoy, it sucks up water, and it literally. I made a decoy. One of the first decoys I ever made out of basswood. I didn't seal great, and literally 50% of the paint flaked off in the first 5 minutes because the water gets sucked up in the wood, and it's just no bueno. So if you're new to carving decoys, please don't use basswood.
It really depends on how you look at it, though, because there are a lot of guys using basswood, and if you want it for a year, if you want it, it's a really easy wood to carve. So you want to get in the game, and you're kind of weird about carving. It's a really easy wood to carve, so you can get in, and it's gonna crack on you. But if it doesn't, if that doesn't bother you, like, what, every so often, like I said, I'm going to put that fish down a hole, and I have a feeling it's going to crack. Yeah. I really don't care.
Yeah. And it depends. I know, I know the Pazusta brothers, John Pazusta, he swears by basswood, and he says it really all depends on, it really does. It depends on your sealing. If you seal it really well, a lot of times I know I use smooth cast. It's a two-part casting material that it pretty much makes a plastic
mess in a bottle.
Yeah, it makes plastic, if you mix these two parts together, it makes like a hard plastic compound. And if you use that, it does a really great job of sealing. But yeah, excellent point.
Yeah.
So
that's all accurate. And then on the same level, you can wood burn it without any sealer. There's a lot of things you can do with basswood, and as long as your expectations aren't too high, you can make it work. I mean, it's just reality. You can, not paint it and not clear coat it, and seal it. You kind of use the WD-40 approach to it. That all works. So
Yeah.
it's all really.
First time I ever saw that was Bob Johnson. Bob Johnson had a great big, it was probably like a 13 or 14 inch. He had just it was a blue kind of tulipy looking fish, and he brought it in a Ziploc bag. He said, "What the?"
That's the same thing Tim Nathy
I
did.
said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Smell it." So he cracked the bag open, and I don't know. what
And
he's got.
WD-40 is made out of fish.
It's a synthetic fish oil.
It used to be, right?
Yeah, I think WD-40 was originally. I think it was made out of fish oil.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a synthetically made fish oil now or whatever. But
Yeah, it's made in Janesville, Wisconsin, I believe.
right next to all the cheese.
and all those pheasants that South Dakota loves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Brian works at a pheasant farm, and that's what he does. Is he raises
Cax.
all the all the pheasants all over that go all over the United States. So Brian's our resident pheasant expert.
Yeah, so if you are hunting pheasants in this tri-state area, more than likely.
Brian fed it.
Yeah.
Touch pheasants.
So how many days do you guys got set aside for your for sturgeon spearing there? I mean, do you have the weekend off? Do you get the week off? I know Ebert's self-employed, so he's probably got to take a few sick days.
Yeah, Davis is here only until Sunday. I'll be here until Monday, and I'm not sure if I'll get up here again. It'll probably go the full 16 days. So,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And how many tags do they have this year? How does that work?
like I said, Bago's just general tag. So I think they'll have like over 12,000 this year. So.
I mean, how many
yeah,
sturgeon can be pulled?
What's the cap?
Yeah. Quota.
It's 5% of the total population, so I don't know what that exact number is, but
Okay.
they're not going to hit it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good water clarity.
And they cut it off at what, 2 weeks or what?
Yeah,
16 days.
16 days. Okay.
That's 2 weeks plus 2 days.
Yeah. We got that. Cool. Anything else that would be interesting to hear about sturgeon spearing? Anyone have any questions? I had a question earlier, but I don't remember what it was.
Is there a lot of people out on the ice out there? I mean, how is it gaining in popularity, do you feel, or is it kind of stagnant?
Well, like I just said, it was a record sales. So, yeah, 12,000 tags sold for just Bago tags. So,
Wow.
yeah, there's quite a
I see Zach Edmister. He's going. He's
actually staying not far from us. I was texting him, but they had to work today, so they're running a little late coming. Yep.
Yeah, they're right here somewhere. As far as numbers of people on the ice, I mean, ice year, it's pretty good ice year, to be honest. But the difference is you have to buy your tags in October.
right.
So not a whole lot you can do as far as, predicting ice year. But where I'm set up, I have about 22 inches of ice.
Drive your truck right out to it.
Oh yeah, not a whole lot of snow. There is a little bit of shove ice to deal with, but we're kind of learning that not all cracks are cracks until you
Drop your pickup in.
until you learn the hard way. But no, everything on the east side. You're gonna, if you're paying attention, you're gonna hear about trucks going in and stuff like that, and that's all relative. There's always a few of them fancy people that don't listen to all the information given and whatnot, but
There's a shack on fire about a mile from our That happens every year. But
Rookie.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you guys?
You know what?
Are you guys sitting together, or do you? Are you guys?
that's where those prostitutes were at.
Was that your governor, or what was the deal with
I
that?
heard about that.
Fuckers didn't pay, dude. Fuckers didn't pay.
Hey, so I got a question for you. Actually, Brian Schellbetter is asking: is there guides out there for this, or is it mainly? I'm sure. Yep.
there's guides. Edminster is using a guide, I know.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's plenty of guides at Elk Shack, but they book up pretty early. I mean, unless you want to go the second weekend, then they'll have openings. But opening weekend, those guides will be all booked up.
Yeah, I know one of the groups, Nelson's, are a group that guide. There's guys out of both sides. We're out of the east side, so there's a little more, in my opinion, there's a little more history here. You're a little bit further from the city influence on this side of the lake. Stockbridge is a pretty big historical area. So we enjoy this side of the lake, just in general. But yeah, there's guides all over the place. You can find what you want. Just comes down to looking and whatever else.
Are you guys sitting together, or do you each have separate houses set up?
We got 3 shacks between 5 guys.
Okay. How big is your hole?
That's perfect.
It's a little bigger than your pike spear and hole. It's about,
It's a little personal.
yeah, 6 by 3 is about the average sturgeon hole.
Okay, cool.
What's a common decoy size used in color?
Color is all over the board, but usually decoy is like 16 plus inches.
Give the
And then someone else is asking, is there a lot of different spear makers? Like, what do you guys use for spears?
It's not as online as like pike spears are, where you can find guys. It's pretty much word of mouth for sturgeon spears, but guys all around the lake. A lot of retired guys making spears.
There are a lot. In general, there are a lot. I actually throw a Kramer spear. So Kramer has made a detachable head spear for anyone that doesn't know. A few of us that have. But in general, it's pretty similar detachable head. We got a lot of fancy people showing up here, guys. So I'm not sure what you're gonna.
Yeah, just so you know, they're on location. So if you hear some background noise, that's what's going on over there.
And I think a lot of spear makers too, if you're looking for a sturgeon spear, I know
he's gonna kill some people. I think
He's gonna kill people. I'm gonna kill you.
All right.
All right.
Well, we can let you guys go too. We appreciate you guys
Yep, the party's on.
Calling in, because it's something that we just know nothing about, and we're hoping to get down there next year.
Yeah, you gotta make it out.
All right. Well, thanks, Brian and Ryan. Good luck this weekend, guys, and everyone that's heading down there.
Yeah, anybody that spears a sturgeon over a thin ice spearing decoy, I'll give them a free decoy if they spear a fish. And that doesn't mean if you spear a fish over. That doesn't mean if you spear one, you just take a picture with my decoy.
And I'll take some caviar.
Yeah.
the DNR is down here.
That's illegal. Yeah.
Hey, I'll take a nice slice of sturgeon steak. I can't pay you for it because it's illegal, but I'd love to try some.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, good luck, guys.
Hasta
Thanks
luego,
again,
guys. Good luck, and report back how you do. Stay tuned to Friday Night Pikes, folks. If they get something, you'll be the first to know.
Cheers, fellas.
All right.
See you later, guys.
Love you guys.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
How about that? You can tell they're a little riled up over there.
It's a big deal down there. It's like
Typical Wisconsin guys. A little bit of alcohol.
It's like the Super Bowl, I think, in most places, because it's the only time they can spear, and it's like it's a big deal.
I wish, to each their own. I wish there was a way that they could get spearing in their state, or at least, have some special regulations. It's unfortunate that, we have some great friends that come up every year spearing with us from Wisconsin, and they're just kind of they're locked out of it. It's kind of
We're working on it. Ryan Ebert, he's the president of the Wisconsin Dark House Association, which is a figment of his imagination, but it's real. I mean, he's really pushing it, and I hope one day, we're working with the Minnesota Dark House Association to try to open up at least border waters for them, and that's where it starts. And I think education's the biggest thing, that they're not going out and spearing muskies.
It's crazy to see when you see both sides of the coin, because you see like Melissa Shockman last week, and you say like North Dakota is blowing the door open. They're talking,
very liberal.
They're talking about opening up walleye spearing, which take it as you will. Some people are really for it, and some people are really, really against it. But it's different to see that you see North Dakota going one way, where now it's like now spearing's legal. Now they're talking about making spearing walleye legal
in 20 years.
Yeah.
In 20 years, it's
Usually, I know Steve Ranella on Meat Eater was talking just a couple weeks ago about that, like, traditional practices are kind of what keeps things going. Is like Minnesota is. I mean,
once it's established,
if you drive by any lake in Minnesota and look, you'll see a bunch of tiny little 4x8 shacks, and the majority of them are spearing shacks. And it's funny. It's cool to see a state like North Dakota that's making things more accessible and more available. And
with the limits of fish.
Yeah. And they may have to cut back at some point, but right now they have a healthy population, in a lot of their lakes.
Man, everybody you talk to that goes out to North Dakota, they come back with, it's like I talked to my wife's grandfather, Roger. He used to spear Lake of the Woods, before they had the really restrictive slot limits, and he'd talk about, he said on Zipple Bay, he said the houses on Lake of the Woods. He's like, I swear to God, he said they made that 10-foot house rule because he says the houses would be 10 feet apart. You'd open your door on your spear shack and it would hit the next house over. But he said you'd go up there and it was like a city on the ice, but he said everybody was spearing fish. And, I mean, he's got pictures, I love sitting back and listening to him because he's got old pictures of him and a group of guys going up spearing and
That'd be a good interview.
Oh, it'd be fun.
Oh, it'd be fun.
But he, and he's got pictures of the guys, 40 fish on the ice and everything from a freaking 40-inch northern down to, just a little dink. But, and now Lake of the Woods has a slot limit on it. That's, it's to manage for trophy pike, and I totally understand it, but I think it's like
40. It's 30 to 40 you can't spear.
Yeah, exactly. So
difficult if you're a newbie.
Yeah.
And even for someone like me who doesn't see
40-inch
pike every day.
I know, when Gary Hall had a spearing guide service up there, and Gary had a spearing guide service up there, and that was one of the things. It was like, be careful what you spear. He says, be cognizant. And even me that has speared quite a bit, you look at a fish down a hole and you go, there's a lot of double.
Well, I mean, you want to follow the law. You
sure.
want to be a conservationist when you're spearing, so you don't want to be messing around.
But to bring it full circle, I mean, that's what, back in the heyday when he was out there spearing, he's like, he told me a story about, he brought a guy from that worked with him. He was a drywaller, and he said he brought a guy from work up, and he said, put the guy in a spear house and said, no, don't spear nothing unless it's 4 inches between the eyes. Mm-hmm. And the guy says, yeah, okay, whatever. Don't spear nothing unless it's 4 inches between the eyes. And he said, so he went over to his house, and he said it wasn't 5 minutes, and all of a sudden he hears, oh my God. And the guy comes out, and he's got a 16-pound fish on the ice. Just a giant, a real great northern. And that's what we're hearing about, the Dakotas, North and South Dakota, and then Montana. We're hearing it's like right now is the heyday of spearing in North and South Dakota.
Yeah. So Trent Offsedale from Trent Offsedale Overhead Doors.
Northern Spiked.
The other half of Northern Spiked. Third.
Trent Spielberg.
Where's Jordan, huh? Yeah. No. He's making saws, I know. He's a busy guy.
He couldn't get a ride over here.
I saw he was with
Just in Time
ride service, but what else do you want to go over there, Jered? You got a bigger list than me. I thought we should go over a pro tip of the week. Do you have a pro tip for a newbie that comes to the top of your head for spearing?
Okay, so for spearing or for carving? I'm a carving.
Okay, you go carving. I'll go spearing.
I always
or Jered pipe in.
I like to have I like to play the. I told Ryan one time we were sitting here and we were carving decoys, and I said, if you could only spear or carve, you have to eliminate one. You're either going to spear or you're going to carve the rest of your life. What do you take? And Ryan,
it's a difficult decision, but I would spear, obviously.
And I said the opposite.
Yeah.
I literally I'll go on a spearing trip a year and then a couple times just locally around home, but that's like the extent of my spearing. And obviously you live on a lake here, so it makes things a little different, but so my passion has really shifted from like spearing to decoys.
What if you could use your decoys? Let's just throw it up. What if you could use your decoys for deer hunting? Say you were making decoys for deer hunting. And I said, would you rather make decoys, and you enjoyed that, or would you rather go deer hunting?
I guess I'm putting my carving knives away.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at.
Venison tastes better than northern pike. Everybody knows.
Yeah, I know.
So if I was going to give a pro tip, decoy carving, and you can do the pro tip spearing. I like this. Unplanned. If we were to do a pro tip for decoy carving, I'll talk a bit about patterns. I actually had something written down about decoy patterns. So like most of the time when I do a decoy, what I like to do is, so say I'm going to make a sunfish decoy. I'll go online, I'll go on Google, and I'll type in sunfish. Not sunfish decoy, not sunfish, whatever. And I'll type in sunfish. And what I'm trying to look for is you're going to find a million pictures. If you went through my phone, you'd think I'm a creep because it's like a million pictures of people holding up their fish.
Your wife's looking through your phone. She's like, do you love fish more than me?
Who's this girl holding up a fish? I'm like, it's about the fish. Look at this. Look at the fish hunt.
That's what screenshots for.
So anyways, what I'll do is I'll take that sunfish, and then Harley Reagan actually told me this. He's like, so take that picture of that sunfish that you like, and another tip that I do is instead of, I'll type in sunfish or I'll type in sunfish drawing, because sometimes you see the drawing lays out a little nicer than an actual picture will. But take sunfish, and what I'll do is I'll print out the pattern that I want on a just on a piece of printer paper. I'll print it out, and there's the picture of your fish. And then what I do is I go and I tape it up to a window, and I trace the outside of that fish on the window. So I'll have on the back side of that sheet of paper, now you have a white and black drawing of this sunfish. And then usually what Harley told me to do is then look at that picture, and if you see something that looks a little off, alter it, because he says that's where you really start to design, or you really start to come up with your own style. Is that Evan Kolstad once told me, he says what's cool is like if you look at a carver, each one, like, they do their mouth a little different, or they do their gill plates a little different, or their fins are a little different. And that's where kind of melding those two ideas together, Harley says, he'd say, alter that pattern a little bit, because when you alter that pattern, you don't notice it, but eventually over time, you start to create these, your patterns start to, there's something that's repeatable and mimicked in each pattern.
Right.
So that's something that I do. I printed out a picture of like a 14-inch lake trout for a competition piece I have coming up in Perham. And right now I've got the picture printed out, and it's a 14 inches. So I had to blow up the picture big enough to make 14 inches. And then I've got it all drawn out, and I still have to alter it a bit to make it, my own. But then each fish kind of takes on its own life, by your hand. So
Right.
That's your pro tip of the week for carving fish. Semi-pro. I don't go by pro yet.
Jared, you have a pro tip for spearing? You've been on some big waters.
So let me tell you.
Jered
Gunufson. We don't spell our names the same. We still have to arm wrestle over who spells it right.
Depends. I mean, I've fished everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't have as good as luck as others, it seems like. But,
Trent, what was
my tip would be is, not every day is fast and furious pike fishing, but when you do, I like to switch decoys. If you're running decoys on a decoy lake, I think there's decoy lakes, and I think there's sucker lakes, and I think there's just Daredevil lakes.
Yeah.
But if you're on a decoy lake, which the lake we're set up on now, 15, 20 minutes, swap that decoy out. Devil's Lake has been like that to us, too. I mean, you can...
What's your favorite color?
I run everything.
Yeah.
Red and white, perch colors. But we've... you don't see anything for 20 minutes, switch that decoy, and your string bottoms out, and boom. It's either...
It's weird. It's almost like they're sitting...
something slingshots through and
sitting
grabs
back
it.
there.
And it honestly seems like they are. But that's what that's my big tip. If it's slow, keep things moving.
How many times have you changed decoys? I remember, I think it was Schnitker saying, let your hole rest for a few minutes. He's like, when you pull up a decoy, just sit there for a few minutes. I remember one of the biggest fish I ever speared was a 34-inch northern, and I dropped the I dropped a red and white down that I had, and it hit the end of the string, and I went 1, 2, and on the third, I just had a freaking right from between my feet, just railroad it. You could just hear it smack, and it took the decoy up below the ice, and I kind of plucked it, and it pulled the decoy out of its mouth, and the decoy came right back to the center of the hole between my feet, and that northern was right behind it. And I think it was the fact that I hadn't had a decoy in the hole all, half the day.
Right.
And as soon as it hit the end of the string, it was like game time.
Changes the appearance if something's lurking. Change your swivel snaps too. If you run heavier decoys,
Yeah.
90% of the time I'm running a Dewey.
You should almost have a setup for each type of thing.
Change them because they break. And
Yeah, I do. Luckily, when mine have broke, they broke in a swim tank. For real. Like I just happened this fall before spearing season. I was, testing out a decoy and it broke, and I'm like, oh, I got to go through it. So I went and changed them all.
Yeah, have a bag of them and swap them out every couple times. Fishing.
My pro tip, I guess, thinking, and I'm sure it's different everywhere, but what I've noticed through the years is, obviously your pike are a little more active in November, December, first part of January maybe. But as the year goes on, they're less active. And right now I see it, although the other day it was Fast and Furious, but if it's not a Fast and Furious day, I would let my decoy sit, or my Daredevil or whatever. I would just let it sit down there, because I think whenever I have hit a decoy, to move it when there's a fish in the hole if they're sitting outside, because right now the fish want to be on the outskirts of the hole. It'll scare them. It'll scare them away, and so that's my pro tip. Early on in the year, you can be aggressive with your decoys and whatever you're using. But this time of year, you have to kind of feel it out when you're out there. If you hit your Daredevil or decoy when they're in the hole and they take off, let it sit. And I've had way more luck.
That's how it is on the lake where we're at now too.
They've looked at decoys all season. It's kind of like deer hunting. You notice at the end of the season when it starts getting into the late season, after the deer have gone through gun season, after they've gone through a full archery season, it's the last. It's in December. It's the last couple of weeks of deer season. Any little scent, any sound, anything tips them off. If you're sitting over a cut cornfield or whatever, and the wind swirls one time and it clears the field. It's got to be kind of the same concept.
Yeah. So, Brian Shellbetter says bring a second spear. That's his pro tip. And Mark Elton says that it's not been a decoy year for him up north. He's from up north there, Minnesota.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Been fun. We had the Wisconsin check-in.
Yeah.
We
I'm just gonna put a little plug in for our Dark House Association up here next week. Next weekend. We've got the Wounded Warriors coming up here. Some vets.
some badass.
Coming to spear. We did it last year, and it was great. It was awesome. It was so much fun. I got to go house to house and kind of check on people. It's guys that have speared. It's guys that haven't speared. They open it up for anybody. And so we set up the houses and we provide lunch and the equipment if they need it. And so
here at Friday Night Pikes, we love our veterans. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
I can't say it enough.
Yeah.
You guys mean the world to us.
Yeah, it's
God bless the
it's
USA.
it's a small way to pay back, that you think about all the hours they were away from families or low pay, whatever it is, they serve the country. So we just like to, one thing that we can do as our chapter is take some vets out. So
Yep.
Plan tomorrow? Anyone got any plans to get out tomorrow? Jared, you've been doing a lot of angling.
I think we're going to see dinosaurs or something like that in Grand Forks.
Yeah. That's fun. I'm
Taking the kids.
Yeah.
Speaking of dinosaurs,
Sunday maybe.
They just said the new Jurassic Park will be out this summer. Jurassic Park again.
I don't know. It's all right. Obi-Wan Kenobi's coming out in
What's
May.
What's that mean?
It's Star Wars stuff. But no, we're taking out Jered. Jered's going to go spearing tomorrow, and he's taking out his son.
Yep. So I've speared 3 times around home this year. I brought my little son Wyatt out. Wyatt just turned 6 on the 22nd. And I'm going to take Wyatt out. And both of the times I took it out, there's a lake like a half mile from my house. It's a private lake. And I just don't think it's much. It's not a great spearing lake. I've never had a lot of luck out there. So I took him out twice after school and didn't have any luck. So it must be the decoys I'm using. But anyways, Ryan says he's got a spot out here where he's been seeing a few, so I'd love to get some fish in front of Wyatt so he can see them, and pretty excited. My wife and 2 kids are up here, and our kids are all Ryan and I's kids. They're all sprinkled through about the same age group, so they like to play around and stuff, and it'll just looking for a nice weekend of relaxing and having fun. So we're gonna have a good time.
And it's Super Bowl Sunday this weekend. Anyone got any?
What's the Super Bowl?
I don't know. I don't care either. But
who's in it? The Kansas City Chiefs and the Vikings.
The Yankees.
Not the Chiefs. That's for my cousin Corey out of Kansas. Sorry, Corey. Maybe next year. Now you know how us Vikings fans feel.
It's a Kansas City Royals,
maybe next year.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
My grandpa's been saying that for 86 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Someday.
I don't know.
70 years.
I gave up.
Somebody call Favre back up. We need him one more.
Favre.
Give us one more year.
Maybe the Packers will give us their next QB. I don't know.
We'll take him.
Yeah, whatever.
I shouldn't say I don't even. Who's our quarterback again? I don't ask.
Cousins.
Me about, there it is. Yeah, don't ask me about football. Anyways, if you want to see some killer fish decoys, go to Tradewell Decoys on Instagram and on Facebook. And
I would like to thank ISAW.com and Jered Gunufson Construction, Northern Spiked, and Trent Offsedale Over the Head Doors. So
there you go.
Thanks for all your support.
Yep.
And the FDA.
Yeah. Like I said, we're just a big family of carvers, really. So.
In the Dark House Association.
Minnesota Dark House Association. If you want to see any of my work, Thin Ice Decoys, that's my Facebook page. That's where I post everything. So,
yeah.
Did you bring any with you?
That little dinker up there in the window. I brought one decoy to use this weekend. If it doesn't work, too dang bad.
We'll probably go get a sucker minnow tomorrow. I think that's the ticket, honestly, right now.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of my decoys.
No, I'm just saying. I think that's what they want. But
alrighty, folks.
Not bad to have one.
No.
Well, thanks for tuning in this weekend, everybody.
Thanks, Jered, for showing up, and Trent too. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming over and manning the camera for us and throwing a log in for the fire.
Alrighty, folks.
All right.
Keep your stick on the ice. Take care.
We're gonna party tonight, and we're gonna feel alive.
I can't hardly read. They didn't teach me how.
Whoa, yeah, you're right. There's some big names. They're from your country.
Yeah, we're both from America, bud.
They're Polish.
I don't want to talk about it.